Okay, I think we are here. I am trying this one more time. I'm hoping that this is going to work this time. I already tried a live this morning, which failed for some reason. So we are having some difficulties for sure. I am looking to share with you some information this morning about um, Brain Genie. And I'm just having some technical problems still. I don't know whether I'm getting worse or not, but it seems like it. So I just want to talk briefly now about Brain Genie. This video will be available later. I'm assuming people are not here live since it's so late already. But we'll try this again. We'll have a quick look and you should be able to see the video later. I will put a coupon below for my fractions course. It's the only one on Udemy that I have for math. I have mostly English there, but I do teach online math. So if you need extra help, you can email me through my website. I'll put a link for that below, and I'll put a link for Brain Genie below as well. What we're going to do is have a look at Brain Genie from the very beginning, from before you would sign in or register. If you don't already belong, then this is what would come up. If you type in braingenie.ck12.org, and I'll put that link below as I mentioned, so don't worry. This is what you would see. And in the top right, you would have a sign in. You could, if you're already registered, you would sign in there. If not, you could go here to the green button, sign up now. It's free. And you would sign in as a teacher. I'm a teacher, or I'm a student, and then go through the process there. If you're a student and you need to sign up for a particular teacher, you'll have to sign in as a student to do that teacher's work. I actually, as a teacher, I register my students and then give them the information so that they don't have to go through that process. And that gives a little bit more control. However, if you're just coming in for yourself or for your children, maybe, you can learn and practice right from here. You don't even have to go in. You just won't get the reports, and there are some other pieces that you won't be able to take part in. But you can look at grades 1 to 8 math. There's brain math, algebra 1, algebra 2, pre-calculus. If you slide down, you have 6 to 8 science, biology, chemistry, and physics. I haven't used these ones. I use the math components, but I'm sure there's some very useful units there. There's 543 for chemistry, 420 for physics. A lot, 1,639 skills for grades 1 to 8 math. So lots to look at there. 222 in brain math. Let's just look at 1 to 8 for a moment. I click on that. We have a menu on the side, talks about addition and subtraction, fractions, money, rate, ratio, and then you have all of these units over here. It shows you area and perimeter and some of the breakdown of that particular unit. So you could click on whatever you wanted, angles and lines, for example, and then it will come up with another menu, and you can look at angles, perpendicular and parallel lines, vertical angles, and mixed up. uh, so a combination, I suppose. So click on angles. Here's another menu, and there's an overview. It sort of will describe, it's defining an angle there, and it's showing you. Determine whether an angle is formed, count the angles in a closed figure, etc. Measure the angle using a protractor, identify the angle given the measure. So let's click on that for a second. So look at the following figure, which angle is 50 degrees? So you're going to look here and try to decide what is a 50-degree angle. Well, we know a 90-degree angle, if it's cut in half, is 45. So you can go from that and try to decide if is angle PQR, sorry, POQ, POR, POS, PO2, POT. So that's what you would do. So if you think it is POT, for example, you would put in POT and then try. I answered that incorrectly. It will show you their solution. POR, where is that? POR is a 50-degree angle. And that makes sense because a 90 would come across here. So then you can look here. The other piece that you can sometimes do is there's a video. There's not always a video. That's why I hesitated there for a moment. There's a video here. You can click on watch video and it will explain and show you not that particular question, but in general, sort of what you're doing for this unit. You can also see results, but there won't be really results here because we haven't done very much and we're not even signed in. You could still see your results while you're here. Once you leave, they will disappear though if you haven't registered and you haven't signed in. We're going to look at student version in just a second. There's play multiplayer and unit challenge. I haven't, so get a perfect score to beat the challenge. So you can begin and you can do a unit challenge here. Which of these form angles, obviously, and I'm not sure how this one is set up. A, B, C, D, okay. And challenge yourself. You could do play multiplayer. I haven't used this, so you'd have to check that out. Something I don't use. I just use the math skills with my students. And I will show you from the student point of view what it looks like on my next screen share. So here we go. There it is. So let's look. So coming in as a student, this is just a made up student. It's an artificial student that I did to test the site a long time ago. And then I put a couple of things in recently just to remind myself of how to use it with all my students online now. I usually teach some at the big table behind me, as you know, but now because of COVID-19, everyone is online. But I have used this online before because it gives students extra practice. And so you can use this for your students if you're a teacher or a tutor, as I am, or you can use it with your children if you're a parent and you've signed in as a teacher. And if you're a student, you would come in and this is what you would see if someone had assigned things to you. Now, this is just showing recent news. There's not a whole lot of news here because I don't use it as a test student very often. But what's important is on the left is the goals, because here you'll find what your parent or your teacher has set out for you. And here's multiplication and quadratic. And that's because I gave some of my students quadratics and some of my students multiplication. I was testing it out here. So if we click on multiplication, you'll see what's been assigned. There's more than that available, but so far I just put this in for the student. Multiply by 5, this student, this artificial student has scored 115%. And I think it's just because if you keep practicing, you can go over 100%, which seems a little strange, but you can get extra points and extra rewards for that. Here's a rating of 1200. I'm just going to click on that. I'm not really sure what that means. Just 542 smart points earned, 13 problems correct, 3 skills conquered, 145 video seconds, 328 practice seconds. So it just shows you a little bit of information there. There we've come back to the news. I don't really want the news. I want to go back here to the multiplying. So you can click on any of these. So you could do a multiply by 3, for example, and that would come up with your questions. Again, there's a video here you could watch if you're having any difficulty. You answer the question and they're just showing it multiplication 2 times 3 and 3 times 2 to show the student that it works either direction. You get the same answer, and then you would continue to multiply through, and it shows your progress here. So 60% conquered. There's not a lot of questions on this one. Some of them have more, but this is fairly low level, 3 times tables. So we'll just answer these correctly. If you answered incorrectly, it would happen as I did on the other screen, and it would show you their results, which basically shows you where you went wrong. But you might want to watch the video as well to get extra help. And with my students, if they run into difficulties, they can either tell me and then we'll look at it separately, either directly at the question, or I'll make up some other questions that are related to show them and draw pictures, whatever it takes to explain how to conquer that math skill and how it works. When you're done, these were all done. We got 4 correct. We attempted 4 and it took 40 seconds. Then you can go on to next skill in the goal, or you can continue practicing. If you continue practicing, it's going to continue practicing the same skill. Obviously, you went on to the next skill. It would go on to, I think, multiply by 4 was going to come up next. So it would go on to that. And you could continue from there. So that's just a little view of what you can do. But also, I should mention, you can go up to the top here at Learning Zone. Well, first of all, over here as a student, you can look at your settings, your awards, your profile, and sign out. But in Learning Zone, the student can go to Learning Zone and see all of the different activities. And if he or she wants to practice something that hasn't been assigned, uh, they can. They just click on it and they can go finding percents, parts, and wholes, and they can do these exercises, watch these videos. They can do this all on their own. It won't show up, I don't think, in the reports. Maybe it does. I haven't tried it actually if you do it without having been assigned. But you can practice, and it can be helpful because I'm working with students as a tutor and they have schoolwork, and sometimes they start a new unit we haven't met yet this week, and they can check this out and say, well, maybe that'll explain it to me in a way I haven't seen it before. And that can be very helpful for them. And then when we get together, of course, I can assign the skills, or we can just talk about them separately. If they've already conquered them, then they don't need to worry about it, etc., etc. So that's just a little bit about Brain Genie and how you can use it. I will put the link below and you can test it out for yourself. I think it works fairly well. It's fairly straightforward. It's a little bit like a game because you can get awards and stars, but it's not totally a game. And some of the games are really good for math online, and some of them are not as good because there's a lot of game and not too much math really. So you wonder whether the student is really understanding the math, and when he or she's faced with it on paper or on a straight math quiz, whether they will really be able to understand it. So that can be a bit of an issue. I'm just going to look and see. I don't think there'd be a chat because there's there is no, I'm late because of the problems that we were having earlier. I want to remind you that I am going to put the link for the website below, the link for Brain Genie below, and a link for my Udemy fractions course below. If you have questions or concerns or problems teaching your children at home, put it in the comments below if you're watching on a YouTube, if you want, or you can email me, go to the website and send me an email, and I can respond to you that way. It's always good to hear from people. In the meantime, stay calm, take a break every once in a while. Look at some of my other videos and my live stream. I did a video this week, which was not a live stream, just a regular video about CommonLit to try to pull all those pieces together. The live stream, sometimes we have tech problems. And there's a couple of coupons there as well, one for improving your reading speed and comprehension, and one for study skills, become an A+ student. So you can check those coupons out too. And also my first live stream and other videos I've made, I've talked about scheduling, very important. Stick to the schedule. That way you won't be rushing to get it done, and you will get a lot more done, and it'll be a lot easier if everybody knows that's a time frame. And set up a little corner where you can actually do the work. I'll talk about that a little bit later. In the meantime, it's Ron Johnson from L.T.L Tutoring Central. Sorry we've had so many tech problems today. I'll try and sort that out for the next live stream. Keep learning and keep having fun, and we'll see you again soon.